Until Bertie put his thumb up just then to tell me it's running, I kind of felt like I'm really sober right now. Usually I'm quite happy and bubbly, but it's like, I'm on a bit of a downer. I feel like a straight head. But that helps. And doesn't that show, or that shows me that I can be on a downer and it can take the slightest little something to distract me, and suddenly it's gone. Suddenly it's like happy city again. But I would like to talk about downers, and I would like to talk about changes, what's taking place at the moment. So this morning, and this is something that I find we talk about sometimes in men's groups, it seems really quite common with a lot of blokes, not all the time, but this morning I woke up and I felt a familiar, it was more like a flashback than a familiar feeling, and it was a tinge of fear. It wasn't the usual, oh my God, what's going to happen terror, or I can't pay my rent, or the bailiffs are going to come, or, you know, fantasies of things that aren't even real. Someone's going to kill me, or who's angry at me, or, you know, a story to justify the panic, or to justify that kind of like scared feeling. So this morning I woke up with a little something, and it's like, God, this is familiar. This is one of those, oh my God. And rather than, okay, I will spring out of bed and I will do one of my techniques so it goes away, or I'll meditate so I have this calm, wonderful oasis in the middle of this nasty storm that's kicking off. I just thought, nah. Today, now, I need to lie here and I choose to feel this. I choose to not fix it, not run away from it, not fear it. It's not nice, in fact it's a bit shitty, but I want to be with this, and it's like, what is this about? Rather than running, you know, when I run, then things chase. So I kind of lay there and I felt it, and it was overwhelm. It was, oh my God, I've got so many things to do. I've got my first appointment at whatever time o'clock. Before that, will I have time to go and do the blood test with the doctor, or pay the cash into the bank because we're with the co-op and they don't have a lot of branches, or oh my God, I have to shave because I'm doing a Facebook Live, and do I have clothes? And I've got over 100 emails, and there are people that want to book, and there are things that are urgent to do with the media or whatever, and it just goes on, and it's that overwhelm. If I carried on rather than not being sane about it and not being real about it, then I would get into fantasies like who is going to die, or who is going to be really angry at me, or is the bomb going to drop and that's the end? Or, you know, I would get into huge devastation, and basically my old pattern with that would be, I have a feeling, it's not nice, I have fear, so how can I justify the fear? Which stories can I put in to use as a vehicle for my fear? And yeah, I guess I spent a lot of my life doing that. In fact, I had another trick. My other trick was, if I was going to meet someone, I would make sure that I'm a little bit late. And partly I'd be late anyway, because in those days I was always in panic. But if I was a little bit late, then I could pretend to be in control of this person being, my fantasy of this person being angry at me, because I'd pretend that they're angry at me, and I know they're angry at me, and they're angry at me because I'm late, at least I know why. It's like all these fantasies, all this nonsense. Meanwhile, what's going on is normal fear, anxiety, sadness, and surely that's as allowed and as normal as joy, or, I don't know, hysterical laughing, or just being quite chilled and happy and mellow. So I think the good needs to pass as much as the bad needs to pass, because all of these things are real. And the most important thing, I believe, is the way that the day starts. And if the day does start with fear, then I guess the choice is, do I want to run away from this, with the possibility that it might chase me? Do I want to be with this so I can look it in the eye and have some choice? Or do I want to allow myself a downer day? And I think, well, that's allowed too. But the most important part, the most important thing about this is being with it, acknowledging it, accepting it, and making choice. A lot of men who have spoken about this in men's groups have had habits of dealing with this, of waking up and holding on to whoever's in bed with them for dear life, disguising it as absolute love and adoration, but it's holding on, oh my God, for dear life. Or the wankathon, the morning, I'll take the edge off and everything will be okay, I'll escape all of this, then I have no energy and then I can deal with the day. Or I'll run to the gym and I will do it large and I'll have lots of Red Bull or coffee or whatever. And it's true, exercise does help. Getting enough sleep does help. With the exercise thing, it was really interesting. So yesterday, yesterday I was speaking to my best friend Alex, and Alex is a top personal trainer. He used to be, I don't know, a dancer and a model and all these kind of things. So I was speaking with Alex, and he was flicking through, excuse the voices, he was flicking through his Instagram while we were talking, and he goes, whoa, it's a picture of me. And I've got a picture of Alex doing a one-hand kind of star stand on some beach, I don't remember, in South America or something. So I'll ask Bertie how to stick that on later so you can see Alex. Anyway, I was speaking to Alex earlier on coming down here, and we were talking about this downer thing. And he said that he had 5 clients in a row. Do you know what? I won't even tell you about Alex's details. A lot of people at the moment, with the weather changing, just don't have as much energy as usual. And therefore, the gym thing, it's just not going to happen. To make things worse, with the cold coming up and the darkness, for me, it's normal to crave stodgy food, and to crave crunchy food. It's been said that eating crunchy food, because of is the word reverberation, the way that it kind of crunches in the skull. It's been said that crunchy food kind of breaks up fear, breaks up all that noise, maybe like a distraction or something. So then a lot of the blokes have been on downers with, I've been eating rubbish, I haven't been exercising, I feel like a lump, and it's that more and more stuck, more and more lumpy, more and more, I'm doing it wrong, what's wrong with me, there's something wrong with me, how do I fix this? So I think, for me, rule number 1 generally is acceptance. And it's so good to hear from Alex that he and some of his clients and some of his friends, sporty types, men in men's groups, it seems that everyone seems to, or a lot of us, seem to be on this overwhelmed downer, tired, not eating right, not exercising enough, etc., etc. Now, if I was alone, I would be I would be on the trip of what's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. Like, how common are those few words, what's wrong with me? How many blokes have come to groups initially saying, what's wrong with me, or there's something wrong with me? But having good company, comparing notes, and seeing that actually we're all in the same boat, maybe this is normal. Maybe these are some of the choices we can make, listening to other people's choices, and kind of not only normalizing it, but empowering ourselves to do something with it. Well, that's helpful. And for me, another thing that I just saw while Bertie was setting up the camera was I was checking out one of the WhatsApp groups. So, I run 4 closed groups as well as various open groups and online groups. And in 3 of the closed groups, men have complained, whether we communicate on Slack or emails, or this was WhatsApp, men have complained saying, well, do you know what? I'm not sure I want August off. I like to stay engaged. I like to see you guys. I like to keep in touch. I like to keep in touch with you, and keeping in touch with you allows me to keep in touch with myself. So there's this connection thing, and I find it really really sad the way that a lot of men may have other people in their lives, but they don't have true connection. It's almost normalized now that men isolate, men become hermits, men have mental health issues, men don't talk, men this, that and the other. And it's like, maybe some men do. Maybe the reason it happens is men don't know where to go and what to do in order to relieve this. And I feel so grateful that I don't, and we don't. The men in my life, we've got the groups, we've got various other things. And for me, yeah, there's men's groups, there's so many other things. If you're into tennis, join a tennis club. If you're into programming, then go to Geeksville. I don't know, I'm sure there are loads of places where people can be amongst their own and see if that fits. So yeah, downers. I had 2 days ago, I think I had a little bit of shock. I had a tooth out, so I'll get Bertie so you can see my final gold tooth that came out. I'll see if Bertie can attach my tooth, but I had a tooth out. So posh dentist, so it didn't hurt or anything, and I was treated very well. And they put the gel thing on and I couldn't feel anything, and they injected me all over the place, and I thought, yeah, go for it, because I do not want to feel this thing coming out. And they crunched around, and I always know when the pretty woman, what do you call them, who helps the nurse, hands the dirty grey pliers or monkey wrench, whatever it is, to the geezer, and he's there pulling and pushing and crunching, and it's like, and I was so numb, I didn't know when it was out, and I was thinking, tell me when it's out, tell me when it's out. So he took it out, put it aside, and he was scraping away, saying, yeah, well, it's out now, and we're dealing with the infection. It's like, oh, it's out, is it a boy or a girl? But a little while after that, I think I got into kind of some sort of shock or something, like, what is it? So it's a little injection, and you know, there's adrenaline or something in it, and I felt a difference. And then there's a tooth out. I'm 53, should I be am I allowed this? It's a tooth, it's a fuscotor. Only my mother will know what fuscotor means. It's like, it's a tooth. But I had to allow myself to feel a bit scared, to feel, oh my God, am I going to be one of these old men with no teeth? Because I've lost 3 recently. Am I going to eat properly? Am I, you know, so I went down that spiral of my teeth are going, I'm aging, what's going to happen to me? Will I be able to eat? Will I be able to smile? And can you notice? No. Good. Well, no's the correct answer, so I don't want any yeses here. Things like that, little things. Even a very, very close friend's mother died. And my God, he got really affected by it. And then us talking about it, we got affected by it. And it's like, am I allowed to be affected by someone else's mother? Well, actually, yeah, it was scary for him. It was scary for me. We got to talk about our parents and how scared we are of our parents dying and what's going to happen and how to manage all of this. So all of these things can so be kind of stored up, and it's like the normal male questions, unless there's good company. Is there something wrong with me? Am I allowed to feel this? I'm scared about this. Is it normal to be scared about this, or am I acting like a silly boy? This is what's happening with my body, whether it's an aging thing or some sort of a change. It's like, is this normal? I could Google stuff about my body, that's asking for trouble. I could go to my doctor and let them Google. Anyway, I think I've spoken about downers and what's allowed and community and this, that and the other quite a lot without taking lots of breaths. So I should slow down and stop now. And Bertie's looking at the camera. What's news down there?
Just a question about like friendships. Like how did you develop you've got a good friendship circle in London or anything? How did you develop that?
Friendships. Do you know, men and friendship is a big deal. I think things are a lot better for the younger generations now, because in my time, we weren't allowed to be close, we weren't allowed to be friends. I think for a lot of blokes, there's closeness when you're really young, and then there's puberty, and you're supposed to maybe not be so close or betray each other in order to go for the girl or whatever it is. It gets competitive. And I remember, I've got a friend, Al, who will probably watch this, and I remember I must have been in my early 20s and Al must have been in his mid-20s, and Al and I met through coincidence. Basically, I moved to London to launch Leap, the advertising paper. One of my friends asked me to go to his flat where I used to hang out because he and his kind of wicked-looking landlady wanted me to be the nice person while they interviewed new flatmates, and Al came for the interview. And I thought, yeah, he's a nice guy. And within 6 weeks, for some reason, we just kind of clicked. We trusted and liked each other, and he wasn't happy there, and he said, look, I'm going to start looking for a place. Do you want to move in? And it was that casual. But then, after a relatively short space of time, we became very close, very, very close. We shared things, we were exploring spirituality. He was brought up Jewish, I was brought up Catholic. There wasn't space for us in those organized religions, and we experimented with Buddhism and God knows everything. We went all over the place looking for things. We started the design business, Total Rethink, and we did okay. But we had issues. We had other people's issues that were doing the they must be gay thing. We kind of had our own fears, but we didn't have our own fears because we asked each other. It's like, you know, are you doing this gay thing with me? Is there sex or anything? And it was like, well, no, neither of us wanted that. So it was nice to have the conversation and move it aside. But we still had a lot of people projecting things on us. And I remember there weren't a lot of men's books out these days. We bought a book called Men and Friendship to kind of give us permission to have our close friendship. And sometimes we'd hang out with each other because we're better company than dating. You know, it's like, well, I'd rather hang out with you than go on a second-rate date because I should be dating girls. So with Al and I, we happened to cross paths because we had a common interest and we just clicked. And I think it's a space to find people with common interests and maybe click. I met Alex, who I mentioned earlier, through my friend Shandor. And I knew Shandor's family from the 80s, or at least his mother, not that well. And then I was in a training, a men's type training, and I met Shandor and somehow we clicked, we just clicked. So we chatted, we kind of hung out a bit, and these days, you know, everyone's friend because you like each other on Facebook, you send messages, you say the right things, you tweet together, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, is there that connection? Do you hang out? Do you really share a friendship, or is it, you know, an online public thing? So I was looking for a personal trainer who was a good guy and was looking for someone who does similar stuff to me, I guess. So I thought, because I wanted that quality, I wanted a good relationship rather than, here's some dosh, I'm buying you, here's some dosh, you're buying me. I just thought, no, I want to go on a journey with someone. So I mentioned it to a few people and I kind of wondered what might come back. And then all of a sudden Shandor comes back and says, my personal trainer Alex really wants to meet you because he said to me that he wants to meet someone like you, and you said to me that you want to meet someone like him, and that's where it came together. So, funny one with Alex, because Alex tested me for, what, a year and a half? So we'd hang out, we'd train, we'd chat, we'd walk in the park, we'd walk in the forest, you know, we'd do whatever. But still for a long time he was testing me. And just because there's a friendship, even a close friendship, I wonder if they're ever in the bag, or whether it's a constant competition or a constant checking. And I would say my difference with when I was more feminine and with female relationships to now that I guess am more masculine, and I could still have access to my feminine side, is as a more masculine male, when someone's in front of me, they exist and not that much exists. When I was more of a feminine male, when someone was in front of me, they kind of existed, but so did all the other plates that I was spinning. Everyone else, where are they, how are they, who are they? And I was just, what's the word? I had an attention span that was broader than Broadway. Broader than Broadway. So now it's changed that people don't exist as much as they existed, and I need to have a reason to see them rather than I'm thinking about them and I'll keep in contact. I came back to the UK in '98 after being away for about 5 years, 4.5, 5 years or something. It took me 2 years. I came back with a friend called Christian from Australia. So we hung out a lot. It took me 2 years to see my old friends again, and to start to make new friends, because I find London is quite a vicious, isolating, lonely place. It took me a long, long time. And it was towards the end of those 2 years that I thought, you know, I reconnected with my friends, and a lot of them just didn't have anything for me, but I still cared for them. A lot of them got too much into their partying, their drinking, their drugging, their money, their power, their competition, all sorts of stuff like that. And that's when I thought, I need to be met at a depth. And I basically got a dozen, about 18 of them in my lounge, and said, I need to be met at some more depth, and I'm going to start a men's group. And this is where we can meet at some depth and hang out and see what we want to do and where we want this to go. But this is quality connection, not just the playtime, not just the sporty stuff. And that's how the men's group started 15 years ago. So I know that I have seconds before my phone dies, so I should round up and wrap up and say, for me, meeting friends, meeting close friends, well, I created the men's groups, and a lot of people meet a lot of good people there and hang out. I am a lot more me than I used to be. I am putting out an I am frequency of this is who I am, rather than an am I frequency of is this what you want? Am I acceptable? Are you going to chuck me? Am I good enough? Whatever. So if I put out who I am, I will attract people similar to me, similar values, similar ways of spending time, similar twisted sense of humour maybe, similar love of nature and walking in the forest, similar whatever. And it doesn't have to be like it was for me when I was much younger, one friend is in charge of everything and I'm safe. It's like I feel more comfortable sharing. And in a way, I remember the devastation of being very young. If my best friend had a new best friend, devastation. Now, probably all my best friends have other best friends, and it really doesn't matter, and it's not a competition. But here and now, I'm with you. Here and now, I'm with Bertie. Here and now, I'm connected with myself. And it's here and now that matters, and it's here and now where you might want to go up to someone and say, someone that you probably know a bit, do you want to hang out? Do you want to go for a coffee? Do you like, I'm going to comedy in Shoreditch on Thursday. Do you want to come and have a laugh? Take a risk, because what they might say is, no, I think you're weird, you scare me. Or they might say is, yeah, right. The end.